There are moments when noise becomes so loud that truth has to arrive in a quieter, deeper way, not as a shout but as something that settles into the heart and refuses to leave. This message is one of those moments. You may think it began with something said by a man of influence, a man of machines and visions, a man whose words echo across screens and headlines, but what you are feeling right now did not begin there. What stirred in you when you saw or heard those words is older than any technology, older than any voice on earth. It is something placed within you long before you learned how to doubt it. God says, do not confuse the messenger with the origin. Even when powerful voices speak, even when the world seems to pause and listen, there is a deeper current beneath it all. Sometimes I allow certain words to rise through unexpected channels, not because those channels hold authority over you, but because I know what will catch your attention. I know what will make you stop, even for a moment, and feel something you have been ignoring. That pause, that stillness, that flicker of curiosity or unease inside you, that is where I meet you. You have been waiting for something to change, though you may not admit it openly. You have been sensing that your life is standing at a threshold, that something unseen is shifting just beyond your reach. You have searched for signs in many places, people, predictions, patterns, even in random moments that felt too precise to be accidents. And now you wonder if this is one of those signs, if this message, arriving after something so public, so unexpected, carries something personal for you. God says, yes, it carries something for you, but not in the way fear tries to interpret it. Not as a threat, not as a ticking clock, not as a demand that you rush or panic. The urgency you feel is not about time running out, it is about truth asking to be acknowledged. You have spent so long moving through noise, through distraction, through other people's expectations, that when something real brushes against you, it feels intense, almost overwhelming. You are not in danger of missing your life, but you are in danger of continuing to ignore your own depth. That is what this moment is about. Not about another person's wealth, not about promises of sudden miracles delivered like transactions, not about a future that arrives without your participation. What I am placing before you is more subtle and more powerful than that. It is the recognition that you are not meant to live on the surface of your own existence. God says, look at how easily your attention is captured by what appears urgent. Look at how quickly your heart reacts to the idea that something big, something life-changing, is about to happen to you. That reaction is not wrong. It reveals that you are hungry for transformation, for meaning, for something that feels significant. But you have been taught to look for that significance outside of yourself, in dramatic events, in sudden changes, in someone else choosing you. I do not choose you in that way. I do not single you out for spectacle. I meet you in a way that is steady, quiet, and real. I call you not to be overwhelmed, but to become aware. There is something in your life right now that you already know needs your attention. It is not hidden. It has been present for some time. You have felt it in moments of silence, in the spaces between your distractions, in the brief honesty that comes before you push it away again. It might be a decision you have been avoiding, a truth about a relationship, a direction you know you should take, or a part of yourself you have been neglecting. God says, this is where your life is actually moving, not in the dramatic stories that capture your imagination, but in the quiet choices you are postponing. The message you are receiving now is not here to pull you into illusion, it is here to bring you back to what is real. Do not misunderstand this. I am not removing wonder from your life. I am restoring it to its proper place. Wonder is not in sudden, unbelievable promises that bypass your effort and your growth. Wonder is in the way your life unfolds when you begin to act in alignment with what you already know is true. You have been told, in many ways, that something extraordinary is about to happen to you, that someone will arrive, that something will be given, that everything will change in an instant. And part of you wants to believe that because it feels easier than facing the slow, deliberate work of becoming who you are meant to be. God says, do not trade your depth for convenience. Do not wait for a life that arrives without your participation. What you are capable of building, of becoming, of understanding, is far greater than anything that could simply be handed to you. When you heard those words, when you saw that moment being talked about, something inside you leaned forward. It was not because of the person speaking. It was because of the possibility you felt reflected back at you. That possibility is real, but it is not owned by anyone else. It belongs to you, and it has always been within your reach. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. But you are being asked, gently and firmly, to wake up to your own life. God says, I am not speaking to you through fear. I am not threatening you with loss if you do not act within some artificial moment. I do not operate through panic. I speak through clarity, through a steady invitation that remains even when everything else fades. So listen carefully, not with urgency, but with attention. There are patterns in your life that you already recognize. There are cycles you have repeated, choices you have revisited, thoughts that return again and again. You have wondered why they persist, why certain things do not change despite your desire for them to be different. It is not because you are stuck. It is because you are being given opportunities to respond differently, to see more clearly, to choose with greater awareness. But each time you look away, each time you distract yourself with something louder or more immediate, the opportunity remains, waiting. God says, you do not need another sign to begin. You already have enough understanding to take the next step. What you lack is not knowledge, but willingness. There is strength in you that you have not fully trusted yet. There is clarity in you that you have doubted. There is a direction in you that you have hesitated to follow because it does not come with guarantees, because it asks something of you. But this is where your life becomes real. Not in the promise of sudden wealth without effort, not in the idea that someone powerful will change everything for you, not in messages that try to pull you into urgency and dependence. Your life becomes real when you begin to stand in your own awareness, when you begin to act from what you know, when you begin to take responsibility for the direction you are moving in. God says, I am not distant from you. I am not waiting for you to prove yourself before I acknowledge you. I am present in every moment you choose honesty over avoidance, clarity over confusion, action over delay. Do not be afraid of the simplicity of this truth. It may not feel as dramatic as the stories you are drawn to, but it is far more powerful. Because it is real, and it is something you can live, not just imagine. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to dream, to hope, to envision a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. But do not place that life entirely in the hands of something outside of you. Do not wait for permission to begin becoming who you already sense you could be. God says, the message you are receiving is not about someone else's words. It is about your response. It is about whether you will continue to look outward for something that feels extraordinary, or whether you will turn inward and begin to recognize the depth that has been with you all along. There is no final countdown. There is no hidden moment that will disappear if you do not act immediately. There is only this ongoing invitation, this quiet, persistent call to awareness. And it will remain, patiently, until you choose to listen. So take a breath. Let the noise settle. Let the urgency fade into something steadier. And then, gently, honestly, ask yourself what you already know. Because that is where this message is pointing you. Not to fear, not to illusion, but to the place within you where your life is actually waiting to be lived. There are moments in life when something shifts so quietly that the world does not notice, but your soul does. This is one of those moments. You may think this is just another message, just another passing word, but something inside you has already paused, already leaned closer, already sensed that there is something here meant specifically for you. Not for the crowd, not for everyone scrolling past, but for you, the one reading this right now. You have been watching the world move, watching people rise, watching voices grow louder, watching powerful names speak and shape reality. And when someone like Elon Musk speaks, the world listens with curiosity, with excitement, sometimes even with fear. But what most people do not understand is that not every message that follows such a moment is about technology or money or power. Some messages are about awakening. Some messages are about alignment. Some messages are about you. You have been waiting, even if you didn't know you were waiting. Waiting for a sign, for a breakthrough, for something that makes all the confusion, all the delay, all the silent nights make sense. You have asked questions without always speaking them. You have looked at your life and wondered why things have not yet unfolded the way you imagined. You have felt that there is more for you, more purpose, more recognition, more movement, but it has stayed just out of reach. And now, something is being placed in front of you. Not as a command, not as a threat, but as an invitation. Listen carefully. The world celebrates loud success, but the truth is that every visible moment is built on invisible preparation. What you see when powerful people speak is only the surface. What you do not see is the long road of doubt, persistence, failure, and silent decisions that led them there. And in the same way, what is happening in your life right now may feel slow, unclear, even frustrating, but it is not empty. It is preparation. There are patterns forming around you that you have not yet recognized. Opportunities that seem small, conversations that seem ordinary, ideas that come and go without being written down, these are not random. They are signals. But signals are only useful if you are willing to notice them. You have been told many things, some encouraging, some discouraging, some confusing. People around you may have doubted you, misunderstood you, or even spoken about you in ways that made you question yourself. And yet, you are still here, still searching, still open enough to read something like this and wonder if it means something. That openness is not weakness. It is your strength. Because the truth is simple, even if it does not feel easy, nothing meaningful enters a closed mind or a closed heart. And you are not closed. You are searching. When someone powerful speaks, the world rushes to interpret their words in terms of money, opportunity, or advantage. But sometimes the real message is deeper. Sometimes it is not about what they said, but about what it awakens in those who hear it. What did it awaken in you? Was it excitement? Curiosity? A sudden thought that maybe your life could change? That maybe something bigger is possible for you? That feeling matters. Not because it means something magical is about to fall into your hands, but because it reveals something about your inner world. It shows that you are not satisfied with staying where you are. It shows that you are capable of imagining more. And imagination is the first step of every real change. But imagination alone is not enough. There is a quiet truth that many people avoid: no external figure, no matter how powerful, can replace your own decisions. No message, no signal, no moment will change your life unless you respond to it with action, clarity, and responsibility. So if this moment feels important to you, then do not treat it like entertainment. Do not scroll past it and forget it in 5 minutes. Sit with it. Ask yourself what exactly you are waiting for. Are you waiting for permission? Are you waiting for certainty? Are you waiting for someone to choose you? Because the longer you wait for those things, the longer your life stays paused. You do not need permission to start improving your life. You do not need certainty to take a step forward. And you do not need someone else to choose you before you choose yourself. There is something you already know you should be doing. Something you have delayed. Something you have ignored or postponed. It might be small. It might be big. But it is there. That is your real signal. Not a secret message from a distant voice, not a hidden code in someone else's speech, but the quiet, persistent awareness inside you that keeps returning to the same idea, the same direction, the same possibility. You have felt it more than once. And each time, you either moved toward it or turned away from it. This time, do not turn away. You are not as far behind as you think. You are not as lost as you feel. And you are not excluded from success or growth or opportunity. But you are responsible for how you respond to moments like this. If this message feels important, then let it be important because of what you do next, not because of where it came from. Stand up in your own life. Take something seriously that you have been treating lightly. Start something you have been delaying. Improve something you have been ignoring. And most importantly, stop waiting for a dramatic event to justify your movement. Because the truth is, the most powerful changes begin quietly. Right here. Right now. With you.